Good morning, class 9 students. So today we are going to do chapter number 2 in your subject commercial studies. So the second chapter is business activities. In the first chapter we have completed economic activity, commercial activity and non-commercial activity. Now in this chapter we are going to do business activity. The meaning of business we have done in last chapter, which is commercial activities, economic activities. So meaning of business here is an economic activity. It is engaged in production and distribution of goods and earn a profit. The business, they produce different types of goods which are demanded in the market by the consumers, and the businessmen, they produce those goods and are sold in the market for the with the objective of earning the profit. So in this way, business are always engaged in earning motive, earning profit. If you say the business, they are for the primary objective of business is to earn the profit. They produce varieties of the goods, or they buy the goods and they sell at a higher price to earn the profit. So profit is the result of the any kind of business. So the main motive is to earn the profit. They are always engaged in buying and selling of the goods to earn the profit. So that's why we can always say that business is an economic activity. Definition of business, there are various definitions given in your book, that business is an organized institution which produce the goods and services, and they supply those goods to the society for the private gain. So this is also a business. Business is the economic activity which are engaged in the production and distribution and acquiring the wealth, and those goods are supplied in the market to the consumers and they earn the profit. You say there are different definitions given by the different philosophers. So, but anyway, the meaning of business, the definition of business, any definition you can write from the book, but the meaning of business is is an economic activity. They are always engaged in production and distribution of the goods to the consumers for a private gain. So now there are now features of the business. Features of So in this way, there are the features of a business. So business features is a characteristics, or can also say nature of business. There is a nature of business. Nature of a business. So business, they are always in first nature of the business. Which is the first characteristic of a business. They are in the sale, transfer, of exchange. Sale, transfer or exchange. So here all business activities, they are engaged in selling the goods to the consumer. They transfer the goods to the consumers in exchange of a price of the goods, in exchange of money. So without exchange with the money, there cannot be a business. Business, they always sell the goods in exchange of the price of the goods, that's the money. The value of goods is it is valued in terms of money, and the worth of that goods is a in terms of money, we call it as a price, and the consumer, the customers, those who are willing to buy the goods or services, they pay a price for the goods. So businessmen, they are engaged in it's an economic activity. They sell the goods to the consumers in exchange of the price, in exchange of the money worth of the goods, which you call it as a price. So this is businessman. Here, feature of the business. First feature: sell, transfer, or exchange of the goods. Now, business is dealing with the goods and dealing with goods and services. Business, they deals with the different types of the goods. Business, they deals with the different types of the goods and different types of the services. So if you see the different types of the goods, there are different types of goods. Some goods are capital goods like machinery, equipment. So some goods are consumable goods, biscuit, chocolates. So they are consumable goods which we are using in our daily life. That consumable goods. Some goods are valuable goods, luxury goods, gold, diamond, silver. They are luxury goods. Some goods are necessary goods, rice, wheat, sugar, salt. They are necessary goods. So in this way, there are different types of the goods a businessman sell in the market. Also, they give the services, and they also provide services like banking, warehousing, insurance, transportation, so amusement. So there are different type of the beauty parlor, salon. So these are the different type of services provided by the businessman to the consumer in exchange of the price. So business, they deals with the different types of the goods and the services. So if you see biscuit, chocolates, butter, ghee, they all are consumable goods. If you see machinery, tools, equipments, so they are the capital goods. Some goods are very luxurious goods like here gold, silver, diamond. So luxury goods, refrigerators and TV, mobile. So we can say they are the luxury goods. So some are consumable goods that are used in our daily life. So they are biscuit, chocolates, meat, fish, egg, vegetables. So all these are daily goods which are sold by the businessman to the consumers, and they also deal with the different types of the services. Those services, I can say warehousing, banking, advertisement, amusement, so beauty parlor. So they are the different type of transportations. So they are the different type of services provided by the businessman to the consumers, those who need this type of services. So that's what business deals with the different types of the goods and services. So number 3, we can say, so regular dealing. Regularly dealing. So business is a continuous activity. It is not an isolated transaction. A single transaction does not make a business. A business has to be done every day. A bookseller, he has to sell the books every day. He has to sell the books. If you are selling the book only for one day, you are not a businessman. You are not doing a business. Business means it is a continuous activity. It has to be done regularly. A single transaction does not form a business, does not consist of a business. Business means it is a regular activity, regular economic activity which is done every day to earn the livelihood. A single or isolated transaction does not consist a business, it does not make a business. There is no sense. The single transaction, we cannot call it as a business. Business has to be done regularly, continuously. Then only we can call it as a business. So next we have for profit motive. Profit motive. A business is always done for earning the profit. When you are hearing this word business, we always think that business means profit, to earn the profit. Anyone who is doing the business, his motive is to earn the profit. So always there is a direct relation here in the business. Business profit. The reward of business is a profit. The more you work hard in the business, the more you earn the profit. So hard work and the profit is a direct relation in the business. The more you work hard in the business, the more you earn the profit. The more you work hard, more is the profit. So the main motive, the main objective of doing the business is to earn the profit. No one is doing the business for any kind of pleasure, any kind of enjoyment. A business is a place where you have to work hard and to earn the profit. So finally we can say that business is an economic activity carried on to earn the profit. So this is the primary objective of business, is to earn the profit. No one is doing business for personal pleasure. No one is doing business for the enjoyment. Here business means it is done only for earning the profit. It is not a charitable or any kind of social activities. Business means economic activities which is performed to earn the profit. The primary objective of doing the business is to earn the profit. So after the creation of utilities, creation of utilities. Business always create a utilities. It helps to make the goods that can satisfy the consumers. So business always add a utilities. Utilities means that has a power to satisfy the demand of the consumers. So business always create a utilities in the goods that has to satisfy the consumers. So this is creation of the utilities. If the goods does not satisfy the consumers, then it has no utilities. Business always try to make the goods better and better so that it can satisfy the consumers. So that is a utilities. So that utilities that has the power to satisfy the human wants. So that is created by the businessman, in which businessman charges a price for that. So business always try create the utilities. So next one. So next is economic activity. So business is an economic activity. It is given the first line only. Business is an economic activity. They are engaged in the buying and selling of the goods. They are engaged in the earning motive. Money is always associated in the business. In economic activity means there is always a money matter associated in the business. So business is an economic activity. It is done for acquiring the wealth, on the money, on the profit. So business is from that point of view, business is an economic activity. It is not a social activity. Business is not done for charity. The business is not done for the social purpose. The main motive of business is to earn the profit. They sell the goods in exchange of price and they earn the profit. So business is an economic activity. From this point of view, business is an economic activity. They are always engaged in earning the profit for a private gain. No one is doing the business for any kind of social services or the charitable purpose. No, business is always done for earning the profit. So this is the economic activity, and next is risk. Business, when you are engaged in earning motive, there is always a risk factor. So when you are doing a business, there is always a risk factor. That means the risk may harm the business, that may cause damages to the business. So more is the size of your business, more is your risk, less is your size, smaller is the size of business, smaller is the risk. But always risk is there in the business. Sometimes there may be earthquake that may devastate our business. Sometimes there may be cyclone, heavy storm that may devastate the whole business premises. Sometimes there may be no demand for the goods that you are selling in the market. The goods which you have produced for the consumer, that goods has no demand in the market. The business may suffer a user risk, change the demand. The consumer may not like the product. They may the taste of the consumer may be changed. So anytime any kind of harm to the business is a risk. So always there is a risk in the business. There may be an accident in the business. Sometimes there may be a fire. Sometimes the vehicle may meet an accident when in the transportation while transporting the goods. While the goods are going from one place to the another place, the vehicle may may meet the accident. There may be an accident. So that may cause a huge risk to the business. So there are different types of the risks in the business. Sometimes the government may impose a heavy tax on the businessman. So the businessman, the price of the goods may increase and not able to sell to the consumers. So in this, the sale may fall, decline in the sale due to no demand. This is also used loss for the business. Anyway, there is always a risk factor in the business. No risk, there is a saying that there is no gain without risk. No gain, no risk, no gain. If there is no risk, you cannot. There is no gain. Where there is gain, where you are earning, there is a risk factor also. So, but there is always to minimize the risk. There is an insurance policy that businessman takes the insurance policy to minimize the risks that will come later on. But anyway, there are several different types of risks in the business. Some risks are natural risks. They are natural calamities, earthquake, cyclone, heavy storm, a flood that may devastate the whole business premises. Some may be economic risks. Due to the unemployment, the business will suffer no demand for the goods. So the price of the goods may increase. There is no demand. Change in the taste of the habits of the consumers, preference of the consumers. So that they are the economic loss for the business, economic causes. So government may also implement different types of the laws and policies that may be harmful for the business. So that is also a kind of risk. Anyway, there is always a risk factor in the business. Risk is a shadow of the business. Wherever you take business, there is always a risk. No risk, no business. Always, that's why we can say that risk is a shadow of a business. But taller is the business, taller is the risk. Shorter is the small is the business, small is the risk. So risk is always there in the business. So these are the features of the business. I have also given in the last class notes on this feature of the business. I hope you have written the notes on that. So sale transfer action, goods, dealing with the goods and services, regularly dealing, profit motive, creation of utilities, economic activity and risks. These are the features of the business. Now we will go to the different types of the business activities. Types of business activity. Types of business activities are classified into two. Business activities are classified into two. One is industry and another is first one is industry and second one is commerce. So business activity is classified into industry and commerce. Industrial activities and the commerce, like you can also say industrial activities and commercial activities. Industry and commerce. Industry are classified into here: extractive industry, genetic industry, extractive, genetic. Then we have a extractive, genetic, construction industry, extractive, genetic construction, and number D, manufacturing industries. Extractive industries, genetic industries, construction industries, and manufacturing industries. So extractive industry and genetic industry, they are the primary industry. And these two, construction and manufacturing industry. Construction and manufacturing industry is a secondary industry. Construction industry and manufacturing industry is a secondary industry. So extractive industry, they are the primary industry. They are dealing with the natural resources. They extract the goods from the nature, from the soil, from the air, from the water. You can say petroleum, coal mining is the example of extractive industry. Genetic industry, it deals with the multiplications of plants and animals. Viticulture, horticulture, nurseries. So these are the example of this poultry farm, genetic industry. Multiplication of plants, nurseries, poultry farm. They are the example of the genetic industry. They deals with the genes of the plants and animals, multiplication of plants and animals. So these type of industries are known as poultry farm. Okay, horticulture. So they are known as a genetic industry. They deals with the multiplication of the plants and animals. They deals with the genes of the plants and animals, multiplication of the plants and animals. Examples are viticulture, horticulture, poultry farm. So agriculture also can say they are the genetic industry. So construction industry is, they deals with the construction of the roads, dam, canals, projects, railway sidings. They deal fabrications. So they deals with the construction work, fabrications, construction of the roads, construction of the dams, construction of the canals, construction of the multi-complex huge building. So these are fabrication work, railway siding. So they are the example of the construction industry, and so they are coming under the secondary industry. So industries are two types, you can say primary industry and secondary industry. Primary industry, extractive industry, and genetic industry. We can say this one as a you can see industry is of primary industry. Primary, and number 2 is secondary industry. Primary industry is, these two are the primary industry. Primary industries are, these two are primary industries, and here secondary industries, here construction industry, construction and manufacturing. Manufacturing industry, they are engaged in the manufacturing of the goods by utilizing the man, material, machine, raw raw materials, machines. So the combination of the different types of raw material, they process the raw material using the different machines and manpower. So they produce the finished product, that is so known as a manufacturing industry, cotton textile industry, iron industry, cement industry, bricks. So in this way, there are different types of the manufacturing. Automobile industries. So they use the different parts and they assemble the parts and they manufacture the vehicle. So they are coming in the manufacturing industry. The example of manufacturing industries, automobile industries, cement industries, so cotton textile industries. So they use the raw materials, use the machine, use the manpower, and they produce the final product. Is by utilizing the raw materials, they produce the finished product with several processes. So raw materials are processed, and by the help of the machine and manpower, and they produce the finished product. So they are coming under the manufacturing industry, automobiles industry, so cement industry, brick industry, cotton textile industries. So in this way, there are different types of the manufacturing industries. So this is the industry. You can classify industry: primary industry, secondary industry. Primary industries are those industries, and they use the natural resources. And this primary industry, there is no primary industry. The secondary industry is not possible. So primary industry supply the raw materials to the secondary industry. Primary industry are those industry which supply the raw materials to the secondary industry. A construction and manufacturing industry is not possible in absence of the primary industry. So primary industries are extractive industry, generative industry. Extractive industries, they extract the resources from the nature, like soil, like you can say earth, water, ocean, or from the air. So they extract the resources. Petroleum, okay, so the coal mining areas. So the coal mining is a extractive industry. So genetic industry is a multiplication of plants and the animals. They deals with the genes of the plants and animals, physiculture, horticulture, poultry farm. So they are the genetic, like the multiplication, breedings, multiplications, plants, breedings of the plants and the animals. So secondary industry, construction industry are engaged in the construction work. So construction, multiplex building, canals, dams, completion of projects. So they are fabrication work. Manufacturing industries, they use the raw materials, process the raw materials into the several stages, and they produce the final product is their finished product. So this is a manufacturing industries. So these are the different types of the industries. So industry, anyway, what do you mean by industry? Industry is a place where the goods are manufactured. Industry is a place where the goods are manufactured. Raw materials are converted into the finished product. Industry is a place where the goods are manufactured. They manufacture the goods. They produce the industries. They produce the goods. And the industries are two types of primary industry and secondary industry. Primary industries are extractive industry and generative industry. And secondary industry is construction industry and manufacturing industry. So this is the type of the industry. Industry is a place where the goods are manufactured. There are two types of industry: primary industry and secondary industry. Primary industries are those industries that supports the secondary industry. They provide raw materials to the secondary industries. Primary industry examples are genetic industry and extractive industry. Secondary industry are those industries which are engaged in the production of the different types of the goods and services. So they depend upon the primary industries. So there are different types of the two types of the secondary industry. Those two types are manufacturing industry and construction industries. Manufacturing industries are those industries they produce the goods by the use of raw materials, machine and money. Whereas construction industries are those industries which are engaged in the construction of the buildings, projects, canals, dams. So they are they are engaged in the fabrication work. So they are the construction industries. So this is all about the different types of the industry.